Hey man, this is Robbie. I am at my shop. This time I'm going to be going ahead and modifying the Fuga, putting the Hydro E-Brake in it. So I'm going to make it a twin caliper. I'm going to be using 2 stock calipers instead of anything aftermarket. Obviously keep the cost down, but before all of this, I used to have a 350Z a long time ago. Then I bought a dual caliper kit from Koru Works, and I dug that out and I had these. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on the Fuga, and let me go ahead and show you how it kind of works. All right, let me dust these babies off. Let's see. Look at that, check this out. They got, it says wrap snacks. I remember they were telling me about they use local snacks to actually use the snacks is cheaper than using the bubble wrap and stuff like that. But here is the kit. It comes with a lot of the, or most of the hardware, it looks like. All the hardware, and there's spacers and whatnot. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. I have an extra knuckle off of the car, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that on, install that before I put it on the car, so I know what's going on. But here it is, CNC'd, beautiful brackets from Koru Works. Let me go ahead and install these in my Fuga, so I can hurry up and do more tandeming in that car with the e-brake. So, and also do cooler initiation. So here we are. This is the knuckle and the rotor that I bought to get the stock rear drum brakes off of, the brake shoes. So I went on ahead and installed it like this, so it's easier to explain because it's off the car. Just imagine, I believe this is for the left rear, so this is the e-brake, Hydro e-brake side. This is the stock brake caliper side. So pretty much you're putting this spacer in between the knuckle and the hub itself. So there's a spacer because this adapter is that thick, so I had to install this washer in between the stock foot brake caliper, and this one actually bolts right up to the extra caliper for the Hydro e-brake. And it also comes with the extra bolts that are longer because it goes actually in between here, if you can see where it spaces it out. So pretty much everything gets kind of pushed out a little bit, and in order to match that, they give you all the hardware to go ahead and install. I already started taking it apart, but I had to take the pin out here. Now I got to take this big it's like a 30 something or 20 something nut off, and I am going to have to disconnect the axle once and pull that out, take the caliper off and the rotor off. And I already had taken all the drum system out, so all I have to do is unbolt everything, take this heat shield off too, and take the hub off, obviously. Then install the sandwich plate in between the hub and the knuckle itself. All right, so I unbolted these 17 mil bolts. They're really, really tight. My back hurts now. I use this so the axle don't turn. This kind of locks it in place. Let me go ahead and take the caliper off and take the rotor off. I hammered the axle that way, but I use something that's rounded that has a center that stays in the middle, and then hit this part, because you don't want to hit the splines directly on the axle. You're going to smash it and not going to be able to use it. So taking these 4 bolts out to take the hub off. See right there. Then I can take this plate off too, because I won't need it. I don't need the stock e-brake. So after a lot of beating, it's off finally. Let me go ahead and add the parts on. So the plate goes on like that, bolts going from the back. There you go, all bolted up. Got the Hydro caliper and the normal foot brake caliper. Yeah, everything's all aligned and ready to go. So I just got to tighten this down later, put the pin back in, and I'm all set. So now I got to make lines and stuff like that. I don't have all the hardware right now, so I'm gonna have to go and get that. Now I didn't make the lines yet, but doesn't that look kind of cool? Fuga with dual caliper. Yeah. My back hurts. All right, so another important part of the Hydro e-brake is obviously the lever. So I had to pull the shifter out because I want to mount the lever on this side, but then the shifter was kind of in the way, so I got to cut some of the plastic out. And the lever that I am going to be using this time is Nameless Performances. I purchased this a while back too. It's cool, matches the car, it's black, it's buff, and also it's got the Willwood master cylinder on it. So this is a probably very popular setup. So this is going to be hooked up to the stock extra calipers that I just installed in the back. But before I make the line, I'm going to go ahead and mount this inside the cockpit and see how it feels. And the stock shifter looks like the sequential gate, but I just pulled it out, and it usually sits like this. Looking at the right hand side, driver's side is on the right, but I'm going to go ahead and mount it on this side. I'm going to use one of the holes that are existing. The other one I'm going to have to make so I can mount it onto the bracket for the lever, but I'm going to have to cut some of this plastic piece off first, modify this so that would hook up clean. Cut some of this reinforcements they have on the stock. I'm going to be using this hole to match this hole. It's going to sit something like this. I'm going to have to mark the front and drill a hole for that one and mount that somewhere, the front side. So the hole's going to be somewhere around here. I probably got to drill a hole in the body or something. There's the shifter, the whole mechanism, and the part that I cut off. I'm going to use this back hole. I will be putting the shifter somewhere around here. So basically the e-brake would kind of be more towards the passenger side, but it's not too far to pull. So I'd be able to pull it like this, sitting in the driver's seat. And also, if I'm teaching somebody to drive and if there's an emergency where I have to yank it, I could actually be in the passenger seat and grab it too. So the holes were made, and I had to put some reinforcement on the chassis side, but looks sturdy. It's gotta tighten everything up, but here we go. It's a little bit further away, but I'm okay with it in my, sitting in the seat. It's only for initiation and only tandeming, because I don't have to worry about shifting so much either, since it is going to be auto for a little while. Since the car is in the air, I'm going to redo the exhaust. I kind of wanted to make it a dual again, but I noticed that the lights are all melted again, and the side of the trunk is melted. So what I'm going to have to do is it probably collects a lot of hot air in here, so I'm going to cut a hole here and maybe on the rear bumper or something like that so I can let some air out. And also I'm gonna go ahead and make this dual, and instead of the last one, it was coming up and it was a slip-on, so I'm just gonna make it facing down some so it'll keep the air from going up into or inside the trunk. Alright, so I bolted the exhaust up. That's kind of what it looks like. There. I just got to make something that holds the tip. So I'm changing my driver's seat to a Brid finally. So I pulled everything out and I basically pretty much vacuumed. And I got a little crafty here. I had some black cloth to cover the seats or something like that. So I just kind of covered the middle section of it for now. All right. Oh, new seat. Wow, it feels so good. The e-brake is here. I just got to connect that line. The inside, I kind of covered it all up so it looks kind of pretty. And as of the exhaust, I drilled out the cats too. Whoa, it's a lot louder. Wow, it's too loud to start around this area. That's good. It got louder. That's what I wanted. I took that back piece off. I already cut the middle out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a hole right here, so it'll be like the vent for the exhaust, so it doesn't melt anything up, the tail lights and everything, And I want to try to keep the outside looking a little more stock, but if that doesn't help, I'm gonna have to cut holes in the rear bumper, but we'll see. I'll go ahead and do the trunk first. All right, so I'm here at Span. I am getting my Hydro E-Brake line made by Okuno-san right there. He ordered me the little pieces that I needed. He's gonna go ahead and wire it up for me so I can finish, get that thing over with. We're bending back the 180-degree piece that we have because it might be a little too close, but I didn't bring the car here. He's gonna go ahead and make the lines. I measured it out. Woo! うるせえよって感じだったね。耳元で。
全然うるさくないです。
あ、そっか。
V8
聞きすぎてもう耳がおかしくなってる。All done. So I got all the parts ordered from Kinokuni. The lines. One side's a little shorter because it's going to go towards one side. And got the splitter, the banjo bolts. Thank you. Joey's here to help me as I could bleed the e-brake, but I'm back here. I'm gonna go ahead and install the lines that was made by Span, Okuno from Span. And before I get into replacing that, I want to go ahead and show you something that I got. So I got this fresh package from Australia. Thank you to the gktech team. It says, Merry Christmas. They supported me for the angle kit on my Fuga, which helped out drastically. It's like night and day with and without it. So now I enjoy the car a lot more better than how it was before with it. And we were talking online, and I was like, hey, you know, I saw that they had some products that might fit this car as well. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to see what they sent me. Another one of these classy black gktech boxes. Pow! Ooh, and look, these, they usually chop these up and put it in ramen in Japan. Naruto? What is it called? Naruto?
Yeah.
Alright, so I got all this stuff, and look at, ooh, I got bolts. Bolts, a pair of bolts, and also, here we go. This is what I really needed. So, I think this is the Diff Brace that they have, and a lot of you know the 350Z, 370Z chassis, and the Fuga, and all these other chassis that are similar to this. The rear diff mount, there's only one side instead of two. A lot of the other cars has two. So this is to support that other side that's weak, because you could actually see it move when you're even just jacking the car up from the back on the pumpkin. You see the diff move. So just imagine what's happening when you have load on it and you're on and off gas. That diff is probably going crazy in there. So this is one of those parts that actually helps it from not moving. And I'm pretty sure bushings on the car is probably all jacked up, but this will kind of help it out so the car becomes a lot better than how it is. They're very affordable parts, and they're quality parts, because like I said, I've been using, I probably went to a few track days, and I kind of do beat on my car with the angle kit on the Fuga, and I double checked everything and looked at it, and everything looked good. Alright, so I got as far as just taking the diff plate bolts, and I thought I was going to figure out the subframe side. But it looks like the subframe is different probably from 350Z and 370Z, that style. Maybe because those don't have the high cast. Mine has a high cast where you can see right here, this thing, this rod right here, that's right here. In the previous videos, I took this little mechanism out and made a pipe to delete the high cast, the stock high cast, because I didn't want to go through changing the subframe. So looking at the way it sits, the piece might not fit. It's kind of like this. It's supposed to go in here. Oh wait, does it go right here? Oh, hold on. Maybe it might fit. Hold on. It looked like it was about to fit, but the hole is in a separate area. And what I'm gonna have to probably do is, when I put this car on the lift, so I could modify this, so I could go ahead and use this bracket and make it fit this high cast bracket. I didn't know that the high cast subframe was a little bit different from the normal non-high cast subframe. I know some of the rear arms and stuff like that might be different on S chassis, and I think the knuckles might be different for S chassis too, if it has high cast or non-high cast. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to salvage whatever I have. I'm gonna go ahead and use this and install it in my Fuga later on down the line. All right, so we're done bleeding it, thanks to Joey, my camera guy today. I think I can move the lever a little bit this way because I thought it was going to be more play, but it's really stiff. And let me go ahead and see. Moment of truth. Man, I really can't wait to get to the track and test this thing out. Alright, so I double checked underneath the car. There's no brake fluid leak anywhere, so it looks like it's working. What do you think? I want to go take this thing out for a drive?
Yeah.
So that was a successful one. Messing with the stock e-brake with the wire and the drum and all that stuff was kind of a waste of time, but now I'm here. I have a Hydro e-brake. I am eager to go and see how this car is going to handle the track. It's going to be exciting. I think I'm going to be able to drive it a little differently now because I have the e-brake. But thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. Until I see you guys next time, peace out. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.